Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a very special guest, Nhia Cassie from Nhia Cassie Interiors. She's a home inspector, she's a lead inspector, she's a home interior designer. She does a lot in the city of Baltimore and the surrounding areas, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about what she does, the importance of home inspections, and drop her information just in case you guys are looking for a home inspector. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Peace. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. If you can talk a little bit about who you are and what you do, we'll start there first.
Hey, absolutely. And thank you for having me. My name is Nhia. I'm actually a home inspector as well as an interior designer. I've been in the home construction industry for about 18 plus years. So I started off as an interior designer and architectural designer, not more of the decorative stuff, but more of the construction documents. So I worked for commercial firms as well as residential firms in order to produce construction documents. So with that background, that kind of helped push me into home inspection. So I was watching the laws in Baltimore and I saw that it was going to be a requirement. And so I said, oh, okay, well, maybe it's time for me to shift gears. And this was 2 years ago. Remember, August 2 years ago, they started implementing these laws for Baltimore City. And I saw that you had to be a licensed home inspector. So I looked at that as an amazing opportunity, especially because not everybody's always remodeling a project, whether it's commercial or residential. But everybody who's a real estate agent is going, or who's into real estate investment, they're going to need a home inspector. So I looked at that as well. Let me look and see what I have to do. Considering I have all of these years in the industry, let's see, what that can entail. So that's what kind of started me into getting into home inspection. And so I went through the process. And so for the past 2+ years, I've been in home inspection. And it's very interesting what I come across, but I still do some construction documents for clients, but as well, I do a lot of home inspections and rental inspections.
What kind of things can happen after the home inspection process, which will make a home buyer pretty pleased that they decided to get an inspection?
Okay, so with the home inspection, the home inspector will look at the outside, the exterior of the home and the property, and then start from the top and bottom. So they are going to tell you what is wrong with the house or what you can anticipate. So let's say, for example, you have a water heater that is maybe 20 plus years old. If you have a water heater that long, it may be working at that time of inspection, but it's my job to let you know it's possible that that water heater can go out at any moment. So anticipate to purchase that in the near future. So a home inspector should be able to tell someone, okay, your roofing material, that looks like it's a little bit aged, and you might start looking at setting aside a certain amount of money. Now, at that point, it's up to that future buyer if they want to continue with the purchase or if they just want to say, hey, I'm just going to put that in the back of my head and know we will have to save money for it. Because it's not the home inspector's job to tell the future buyer whether they should buy it or not. My job is to tell you, hey, this is what you can anticipate, and this is what, is working very well at the time of inspection, but hey, let's see later down the line, or, oh, wow, yeah, this furnace isn't working, so you probably want to anticipate to purchase a new furnace. I'm not going to say, oh, no, back out of the deal. No, the home inspector that will tell you this is horrible, this is bad. No, it's not my job. My job is just to educate you, to tell you, hey, these are the issues and these are some things that you can do. And it's completely up to you whether you want to move forward or work with your real estate agent to see what you guys can do about it.
Do you have any other stories of things that you didn't expect to see on a home inspection, or the home buyers were made aware of that they didn't think will come back in a home inspection process?
Absolutely. There's so many different things. I mean, I have countless stories, unfortunately, but another example is I invested in a infrared thermal camera, because I want to see, what's going on beyond my eyes. So what that means, it's basically, it can read temperatures that's going on inside the walls. It can tell you if there's leaks. And I've had to use this several times. So I use that tool, and it, like, again, house looks fine. And then you kind of look and say, okay, something looks a little funny about this. Like maybe cover up with some paint. Sometimes my eyes will be able to see that little detail. So I'll pull out the camera, and lo and behold, there's a whole spot where it's showing and it's highlighting like purple or screaming, hey, there's a leak right here. And so that's one indicator. And then I'll pull out my moisture meter, and then I'll, it's like a little poke. It'll poke it and it'll tell me how much. So if at a certain threshold, that can lead to mold, and it can lead to, additional issues. So I've had that happen a few different times, more than once, where I had to say, hey, there's something going on beyond this. You need to check the roof a little bit deeper. Further investigation is required, because there's something leaking down in between the walls that's causing this. And I was able to determine that, because sometimes you can't see directly from the roof. It may look good, but that's when that attic action has to come in. And then that's when you have to look at the walls, and that's always further investigation. So it's a steps process.
Let's shift gears a little bit. So that's more so like your traditional single family, right, multifamily homes, those type of inspections. What does a home inspection, or the lack thereof of a home inspection, when it comes to, let's say, investment properties? Let's take Baltimore City, right, where we typically are, where we typically do business. What does that inspection process look like for, let's say, a buy and hold property? For a landlord, what does that inspection process look like? Is it the same as a traditional inspection? Is it a little bit different? Talk to us a little bit about that, specifically for investment properties.
Absolutely, it's definitely the same process. The mindset is a little different, because they're not going to be living in the property, but they want to know what's going on with it. My investors kind of know something. There's some issues in that property. They just want to know what they're going to have to anticipate, so they can know what the cost is going to be. So we don't give the cost, but we will tell them what the issues are, so they can go back to their contractor so they can fix them. So that's really the difference. The first time home buyer is looking at, oh, okay, we want to be able to live here. We want it to be move-in ready. And the investor's looking at it, please tell me what are the issues, so we know what to fix. Because there's times where we worked with investors, and I say we because I have a business partner most of the time, and he'll come in with me when we do the full home inspections. But we'll go into these properties, the investment properties, and sometimes, like I said, the investors will have already purchased it, and then we're coming in after. So we're like, okay, you didn't notice that structural thing going on right there? Or we're like, wait, it's too late. So they're already in the deal. They just need to know, okay, what can we, pay to, or how much is it going to cost to fix? And then we have the other part where they're like, should we purchase this? Is this going to be a good investment property? And both of the times, it's kind of like, well, it's going to cost you this amount of money, and it's up to you whether you want to pay that or slowly over time, or it could be good enough to pass the rental inspection, because that's a completely different process as opposed to the home inspection. But it's definitely the same thing. I can tell you the paperwork on the report is typically doubled when I'm working with investors versus first time home buyers.
So why should someone work with you? Why should someone contact you, to come in and do either a home inspection or lead inspection? I mean, you wear many hats. Why should someone work with you specifically?
I'm going to be 100% honest. Now, let me tell you, I've talked myself out, not on purpose and not even necessarily talk myself out of money, but I'm going to be that person who's going to help educate you along the way, help you try and make better decisions. I even had a recent client who was like, oh, I need to renew my rental inspection license. I said, let me look it up real quick. I looked it up for him, and he was about 8 months out. I said, you're going to lose 8 months. You could save, and then you're going to be 8 months, and have to go. It's basically going to be good for like a year and a half. You don't want that. So, he'll hire me down the line, and then he'll have refer me because I was honest with him at that moment. I'm not trying to get anybody's money just to take it. I'm trying to give you a really good, deeper service, especially with my architectural background. I can comment a lot on what's going on with the home inspection. There's, I don't know, hundreds of home inspectors out there. And to go with me, one, I can crawl in these attics. That's the one thing I joke with people about, because there's people that will not go in them. And that part I look forward to. I'm going to go in there, look. I am going to look at the truss. I'm going to look and see, what's the roof decking looking like. I'm going to look at specific items because I know how much a roof costs. That's one of the big items. Yeah. So I'm going to do that extra step. I always think back to the houses I've purchased previously and use a home inspector, what things that they missed or overlooked or was kind of lazy about. I make sure I address because I don't want somebody to come back and say, hey, this happened, my floor leaked, my bathtub fell through, or some crazy story because I didn't do my job.
How can we get in contact with you? We have quite a few viewers. My network is pretty large. How can we get in contact with you, reach you? Are you on social media, phone numbers, emails? What's the best way of contacting you?
Oh, absolutely. I'm everywhere. So I have a website. It's in like Nhia Cassie NCI home inspections. ncihomeinspections.com. That's my website, and I'm also on social media. So I'll have to send you the link too, or somehow connect it to show where I have a Facebook page. I have Twitter, all the social media. I try to connect them all. And so that way people know that I'm still out there during COVID. I mask up, gloves up, everything, but I'm still out there to do the job, in and out. And yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. I'm sure our viewers found this information extremely useful. For those of you guys that are new to the channel, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. I'll make sure I drop Nhia's information down in the link. If you are in a DC, Baltimore area and you're new to home and new to real estate investing, or you're looking to purchase a home, please make sure you hit up Nhia for more information. Thank you guys.